Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no sleep work along with several never-before-published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, due out later this year.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. My name is Sean.
And I'm Missy.
And Missy, I've got something that's going to change your life. It's called The Substance. And you just inject yourself once with it, and then your spine will split open and cough out a younger, better you. Sound good? Act fast.
Yeah. Oh, and that shit is radioactive reanimator green. Who the fuck is going to inject that?
Oh, man. So we're going to talk about The Substance. This is going to be a short, spoiler-free review because we want to tell people, go see this fucking movie in the theater because this shit blew my fucking mind. This is the best. So this is going to end up being my movie of the year, I think. But even if it's not, I'm going to bet I'm not going to see a movie in the theater that is more theatrical. Like, this was a cinematic fucking experience, and I feel like seeing it at home will half the experience.
Yeah, for sure. So we both saw this, last Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to talk about it before it disappears. I'm hoping it gets more than a week.
I thought it might, but I mean, we're already my theater. We went from like 5 or 6 screenings a day to 2 starting
Holy
this week.
shit,
So
really?
that usually means that by the end. And honestly, I've said this many times this year and probably last year, but I cannot believe I saw this movie in a theater in Clarksville, Tennessee. Like, this is a movie I would have thought I would have had to have seen in LA at a Beyond Fest screening. I can't believe that I saw this in a Regal theater, and let alone that there were like 5 or 6 screenings the first couple days it was there. That absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, it makes me really happy that we're getting these kind of movies in the big box theaters because I go to a big box AMC. And you're right. What, 5, 10 years ago, a movie like this, I would have had to go to the Music Box in the city to see.
Yeah, 100%. So, oh my God, if you can hear us see this fucking movie in the theater,
Get in a theater.
I will say it's 2.5 hours long, roughly. There is a point near the end where I thought that it was going to do the thing where it's like, no, end. Why you had an ending? Stop. And then it redeems itself by doubling down on absolute batshit crazy, and every moment ends up being absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I do want to put out there a trigger warning for anybody who, like, I have some friends that this would totally freak out. Anybody with body issues, you know what you're getting into because this is the gnarliest body horror movie I've ever seen. And I
Yeah,
love David
yes.
Cronenberg, and this shit's just it's very physical and gnarly. So if that kind of stuff is gonna upset you, you might want to pass on it. But otherwise, I mean, you and I always talk about Joe Bob and being mutants. Like this movie is made for mutants.
Yeah.
All three of the bees are properly represented.
Yeah.
Blood, breasts, and beasts, you get all of it. I don't know what I was expecting because I went in pretty blind, but it wasn't this. But I was really happy with what I got because when I saw a trailer once or twice for The Substance, and like I had an idea what I thought it was going to be about, and it's not that at all. Um, which is awesome. I like when they can
Yeah.
surprise us. This movie is full of outstanding, amazing practical effects. There's a
Yes.
little CGI, but not a whole lot, and you don't really notice it.
Yeah.
You've got to see it in a theater because I mean the sound is incredible.
Yeah.
The camera work is incredible. Um, this movie feels like it moves and breathes. The the camera is constantly moving all the time. It moves in ways I've never really seen them do with a camera before. It constantly feels like it's moving and it makes the movie feel very kinetic
Yeah. It's a good word.
and alive because there it uses sound in an interesting way and there's this pulsing throughout most of the movie that also makes you feel very like amped up and
Yeah.
like it knows how to get under your skin. It's super overstimulating and loud and unsettling and awesome and gross and gory in all the best ways. And the two leading actresses were outstanding, both Demi Moore and Margaret
Quelly.
Margaret Qualley.
I am not a Demi Moore fan. I've never really gotten it. Not, and it's nothing against her, but it's just was never really a Demi Moore fan. And I have to say, her performance is fucking fearless.
Mm-hmm.
Major props to her for this. I mean, my God, this movie's at like that thing where like Kirsten but has said this, but also I've heard and read other women say this where like women tend to tear each other down where they should be, helping each other out. And this movie is like takes it to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it so the written and directed by Coralie Farjat, and her first movie, Revenge, it was on everybody's lips when it came out, and I started watching it, and it made me very uncomfortable because rape revenge makes me uncomfortable, but also I was like, man, I don't like you're shooting this girl, like you're dressing her and shooting her really in this saucy way, and I feel like it's making me feel really weird about what this movie is, and so I just never got back to it. I was like, and I realized watching this movie as a heterosexual male, she makes me feel very weird about being attracted to females, but also she makes me feel really weird about eating food, about going to the bathroom, about my teeth, about my body. Like so I realized like, oh, she's not like necessarily commenting on one thing or another. It is that full body horror rainbow. And I'd like to go back to what you said because it seems like a bold fucking statement, right? Because people are going to be like, oh, what, the most body horror movie? What about Cronenberg or Brandon Cronenberg? No, like all respect due. But this is coming in 2024, and I feel like she's going, I'm going to take some of that and turn it up to 15. I'm going to take some of that and turn it
Mm-hmm.
up to 30. And it made me think on the way I felt about Cabin in the Woods when I saw it, where there's a point in Cabin in the Woods where I was like, Jesus, if horrors of a playbox, you just hoarded all the fucking toys, you dicks. Leave something for somebody else. I felt like she was just like, top this motherfucker. Like it is the most body horror movie I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, we both love both Cronenbergs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And so,
I
I mean,
love
we're not
them.
serious about that shit. I love werewolf movies and shit with transformation. Like, this is some pretty intense body horror. And actually, I just rewatched Revenge, her other
Hmm.
movie, the other day, like Friday, I think. The whole thing with the close-ups and a lot of that, I mean, she has something to say, but I think a lot of that is also just part of her voice, her style, because you get a lot of it in Revenge too. Those weird close-ups of people eating and zooming in on imperfections and
Yeah.
things like that. Going back to Revenge for a minute, that movie's awesome, and I don't usually dig rape revenge either. Um, I will say that like you don't really see a lot of the rape. It's you kind of see where it's going, and then it's insinuated from there.
Okay.
And then our friend John was I was talking to him the other day, and he said that it he put it into words better than me because he said it's kind of The Crow, Mandy, and First Blood all rolled into one,
Hmm.
and he's really right on. It's all super over the top, and like no human could live through what she lived through, and she pretty much gets up and starts dealing out revenge, and she's just badass.
Hmm.
It doesn't have the same like it doesn't have the tone of those kind of movies.
Right, right. That's what he was telling me too. Yeah, he used the First Blood Mandy reference, and I know it's hyper. I mean, I'm going to watch it now for sure. I knew that within 15 minutes of the substance. Like, I'm totally going to revisit that. I think I was very wrong. I love everything about this writer director's style.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I between this and Revenge, anything she does, I would be willing to check it out. And she's got guts too.
I feel like she's a huge David Lynch fan. I picked up some Mulholland Drive and some Inland Empire, like
Okay.
just certain things where I was like, holy fuck, she is definitely a David Lynch fan. There and this movie, the substance excites me in a way, and this has been a fucking great year for movies so far.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a great year for horror,
yes,
especially.
yes,
I feel like my list is constantly in flux because every month there's like something new.
it's like it's well rounded because like also like John was saying, Bickness, who's been on this show, he was saying, this year's been great because you're getting your like A24 whatever, but you're also it's like everybody remembered that you can make horror movies fun again because it's stuff like Abigail and Sting. And
Hmm.
I mean, but I knew watching this, I'm like, oh man, dude, there is just nothing. Like when I saw Mandy in the theater at the Egyptian in LA, it was just absolute mind explosion. And this was here in Clarksville, and it was a completely different scenario. There's hardly anybody in the theater, whatever. But it was the same thing. I was just absolutely. I'm going back tomorrow. I didn't. I'm gonna fucking smoke some fucking weed for this viewing because I didn't for the last, and I just it's just sensory. Fuck all like you were talking about the pulsing and the that like the score has this like low end bass throb to it, and oh, there's a rhythm to everything in the
Hmm.
movie. Like the way it's edited and what you're seeing and how it's advancing the story. Oh my God.
Yeah, the movie is complete sensory overload. There's all kinds of cool throughout the movie, like these flashes that are like subliminal flashes. It almost looks like something out of They
They
Live.
live. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah, total
um,
they live vibes.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's that. I mean, I'm sure like you picked up on some David Lynch. I definitely picked up on a little bit of Carpenter and uh Cronenberg's all over it. Like she loves the same shit we do. And everything about this movie is just it's very visual, it's very alive. It when she's learning how to use the substance, the whole thing is about balance. the whole film is based on balance. You're
Yeah.
constantly being flashed with all these images, either images of beauty or images that are ugly and uncomfortable. But through the whole thing, and shout out to the two leading actresses because being a body horror movie with transformations and stuff, they're naked through
Oh,
a
like
lot of this
so
movie,
much of it. I
which is always hard. And I mean, most of the time, they're not doing sexy things. They're doing
no.
uncomfortable, scary things.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, uh, man, I'm just so impressed. I'm just,
And me too. I'm super impressed. It's super unique. Um, and knowing that this is just a second film, like,
yep,
wow. It's a great theatrical experience. It's a perfect movie for mutants. If you have any body triggers at all, it's gonna hit them. Like, I hate anything to do with teeth. There's a teeth scene.
oh my God.
You
Oh,
know, I'm not a lightweight. I like the goriest, most ridiculous bullshit. But I spent 30 seconds with my head tucked inside my shirt, listening to horrible teeth sounds, waiting for this to
oh,
waiting for it to shift into the next thing.
yeah.
So I
Oh,
mean, it like she knows how to get you.
yeah, she
Even the
really, really does.
even those of us that are not lightweights, like there will be something that's gonna
Yeah,
make you go, "Oh, ew!"
yeah. But I mean, even just like the I can't say this word, but I'm gonna try fetishization of the female body is like amped up to a place where it becomes so it's like it's almost like see how sexy this is until it becomes so not sexy. It becomes disturbing and you're like stop showing me that, please stop showing me this really awkward penetrating shot of like this chick's crotch as she's gyrating in her aerobic, whatever. Like stop showing, please stop showing me that. And I feel like it's a great image. So without giving anything away, the person who basically like turns Demi Moore's character on to the substance as a service, when you see this person, I'm looking at this person's face, I'm like, what the fuck is with this person's face? Like it was I don't even know how to explain what this person looks like. And even just their face made me feel uncomfortable about being human. I don't know. Man, god damn. I now that I get it, I'm all for it. Like
Yeah, it's a great flick, and I mean, it'll be in my top five. I mean, I have a feeling nothing's gonna knock Strange Darling out of spot one,
mhm.
so this will
Great
probably
flick.
be my number two.
Great flick.
Um, I feel like that one was written for me, but this is it's very unique. It's not like anything we've really seen before, and it's definitely worth your time. If you like
Amen.
horror, especially if you love like the old school practical stuff that we do, like please do yourself a favor, see it in the theater before it disappears. I say it all the time. We want to support this. This is what
Yeah.
we want. We want
Support
to
the
support this.
weirdo shit.
Right. We want these to come to the theater.
Take it from us. See it in a fucking theater. Please.
Please.
And that's the substance. And we'll probably at some point come back with the rest of our cast members and do a deep dive on it because I could talk about this shit all day. Especially now I'm going to see it second time tomorrow, and then if I could see it a third time, I will. I definitely will.
Oh yeah, I want to see it again too. But I'm sure we'll do because all of us wanted to see it. Just life got in the way.
Yeah,
So
life gets in the way. So, but we wanted Missy and I wanted to get something up to just implore people to go see it in the theater. So, just in case it doesn't make it out of the week. So, And that's the substance. And this is the Horror Vision. And I'm Sean.
And I'm Missy.